Top Wrestling, Drunken Wrestling Review, starring NWA Bobby Mack. Hey everybody, this is NWA Bobby Mack. I'm playing with my microphone, getting this all messed up. But we just got done watching Monday Night Raw, and when I say we, I mean, well, me and hopefully everybody that's listening here. So all 4, 3, 5, 4, 4, 6, 17, however many of you are out there watching Monday Night Raw. Really an okay show, not memorable in any way whatsoever. And I really don't think you can be memorable when you've got the Big Show and Kane in the opening and closing matches. I said it tonight a little bit. They're booking those two guys wrong. They could still be special attractions. Even at their age right now, I still think they could be special attractions. They're two big men. They're two veterans. There's two guys that can still go in the ring, but they don't need to go 2 times in one show. They don't need to go, in every single match. They don't need to go in every single show. They don't need to go in every single pay-per-view. They could still be special attractions. A special attraction like Brock Lesnar or The Rock, no, but still special attraction enough. Maybe, if they did 4 or 5 pay-per-views a year, it would still be okay. But what they're doing right now, those two guys, they're overexposed. I looked up the history on Andre the Giant, comparing him to the Big Show. Andre the Giant died when he was 46 years old. When he was 43 years old, he was the tag team champion with the Colossal Connection with Haku. Guess what, fellas? The Big Show, now 43 years old. His birthday was last week. Same age as Andre the Giant when he was the WWE Tag Team Champion. So lots of parallels there. Andre was used specifically as a special attraction up until that point in time. That was probably the first time Andre was really overexposed, when he was the Tag Team Champion with the Colossal Connection, because he had Haku who could go in the ring and do all the work, tagging Andre, hit a couple, punches, still be able to move around just a little bit, not very much. You could obviously tell this was the end of Andre's career, but still same age as the Big Show, and was still able to maintain. But anyway, let's talk about the main event here. Let's talk about, Big Show and Kane. They were in there, as well as the J&J Security and Seth Rollins against Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns. The thing that really got me in this match, and it hit me all of a sudden, when I saw Stephanie McMahon, I saw Triple H in the back, watching the heat between Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan. What if it's not Roman Reigns that turns heel? What if it's not Roman Reigns that does what we all think is going to happen and him turn heel? What if it's Daniel Bryan? What if you turn Daniel Bryan's yes movement back into the no movement that it was, 2 years ago, 3 years ago? When he was originally, tag teaming with Kane? What if you take that link between him and Kane and you put it back with the Authority? What if this entire time now the Authority now supports Daniel Bryan because they see now that he could be the face of the WWE, that his yes movement has taken over the WWE for the past 2 years, and now they embrace it. They take him in as the corporate champion. Has it been done before? Yeah. The Rock. You guys remember The Rock? I think you do. The Rock did that. The Survivor Series. The Rock was the good guy in that Survivor Series against the corporate Mankind. Big swerve right there in the end. Big swerve. Where The Rock all of a sudden became the corporate champion and they kicked Mankind out. What if the Authority does that? What if the storyline for WWE all of a sudden is Daniel Bryan is the corporate Daniel Bryan? You could easily shave that beard and that long hair that I'm sure his wife does not enjoy. and you could turn him into corporate Daniel Bryan and have a very successful long run as a champion. Um, and where does it play into WrestleMania? You have Roman Reigns, the face, because he's been betrayed by corporate Daniel Bryan. Now all of a sudden he's getting that face push. If the fans don't want to cheer Roman Reigns for the character that he is, then why not make the fans boo Daniel Bryan? And in turn, that would make Roman Reigns a face. It's something that just came across my mind, and I want you guys to really think about it because I think this might work. If the WWE really wants to support Roman Reigns, making him the face of the company, make him the face, the smiley, happy guy, the guy that's going to take over for John Cena, and they can't get over this Daniel Bryan hump, they can't get over the fact that the fans want Daniel Bryan, then why not turn Daniel Bryan against the fans? His girlfriend's already a heel. John Cena's girlfriend's a heel. You could team those two ladies and mix them into the whole group atmosphere, making the Divas Championship a little bit more valuable, putting it with the Authority. They've already got a storyline with Stephanie McMahon. You put that in there with the Authority, all of a sudden that faction grows. You've almost got a semi-corporation feel to it. And Daniel Bryan becomes the natural heel. Yeah, he can run with a title for a little bit. After Roman goes to WrestleMania, he beats Brock. He holds the belt for a week or two, maybe even a month. All of a sudden, he gets cheated out of it. He starts getting more and more face push because the Authority is pushing Daniel Bryan now down our throats on screen versus Roman Reigns. So yeah, the whole corporation, the whole factory there will continue to push Roman Reigns, but we won't even notice because we're just dumb fans on the internet. All we're going to see is they've taken our hero Daniel Bryan and embraced him on WWE TV, and we're all going to mark out because we're going to say, oh no, well, they've embraced Daniel, so they're not embracing Roman anymore. We've got to turn against Daniel. I think that's how you get Roman Reigns over. Right there. You turn Daniel Bryan against the fans by having him align with the Authority. And the no, no, no chant is reborn. Think about it. We'll be right back with Cody Ices.
Welcome back to Rocky Top Wrestling Drunken Wrestling Review. We appreciate you sticking around. We're still talking to young gun Cody Ices, the librarian, the king of Carter County. Actually, at one point, didn't I call you the king of Kingsport?
You did, yes.
Yes, I did. The king of Kingsport, Cody Ices. Gimmick infringement right there. I would hate that the comb of the Big Whopper would ever come back against us for calling you that. Whoopsie. So let's talk about pro wrestling, Cody Isis. You ever? I know exactly. Duh. That's all we've been talking about, right?
I'm sorry. Have we been talking about American history for the last 2.5 hours?
Oops, my fault. So, let's talk about. All right, we just talked about Brock Lesnar. We've talked about all these guys. John Cena. What's going to happen at WrestleMania 31? That kind of good stuff. So let's go back in time. Let's talk about one of the greatest tag teams to never get the attention they deserved. And I will tell you, there has been a poll out about the Championship Wrestling Alliance, a local organization here in Tennessee, now a national brand with the National Wrestling Alliance of Smoky Mountain. They talked about tag teams. They talked about the greatest tag teams ever be around. They talked about OMF. They talked about John Hawkins Promotions. They talked about the Tennessee Rednecks. They talked about all these tag teams, but one tag team they omitted from the list was one of the biggest tag teams I saw when I first joined. A tag team that really seemed like they were over with the fans. The fans enjoyed them. They went out there, they put on a good show, a good match. They had good promos, and that was Rhythm and Booze. So, obviously, you had Honky Tonk Matt and Cody Ices, part of the tag team. It was a play on words as Honky Tonk Matt obviously was a big fan of the Honky Tonk Man, who was a big fan of Elvis Presley. Who? Yeah, exactly. Who? Then you had his tag team partner Cody Isis, who was a larger athlete, worked great matches, sometimes started off a little bit slower and worked his way into the match, much like the Honky Tonk Man's tag team partner, Greg the Hammer Valentine, a true legend in professional wrestling. Actually, his father was in the plane crash of Ric Flair back in 1977. So, Johnny Valentine. So let's talk about you, Cody Isis, teaming up with Honky Tonk Matt as Rhythm and Booze versus, of course, the people you'd be compared to, Rhythm and Blues in WWE. So let's hear about the Rhythm and Booze tag team.
Well, let's we can go back a little bit. Me and Matt Scott, Honky Tonk Matt, we grew up together. I mean, me and Matt were friends way before Rhythm and Booze. Me and Matt, yeah. I mean, me and Matt were friends through high school, middle school, everything else. Me and Matt broke into the wrestling industry together. Me and Matt had a lot of similar interests. When we were doing Rocky Top Wrestling, the first time we were hanging posters for Rocky Top Wrestling, it was you, me, and Matt driving around hanging the posters. Yeah.
And tell us about Honky Tonk Matt going into the
we'll get to that in a minute. But me and Matt, I mean, we truly were best friends for a very long time, and here we are in 2015, and yeah, I hate to say, me and Matt are not as close now. But I hate to say, me and Matt are not as close now as we were back then. But you got to understand, when me and Matt broke in, people mistook me and him for brothers, and people thought we were blood related. And for a long period of time, me and Matt really were that close. So it took a very long time for me and Matt to come to a place in our wrestling careers and I said wrestling, and it took a very long time for me and Matt to get to a point that we could actually be intertwined in a tag team and legitimate as a tag team. And I remember when he came to me and said, "Man, this person came up to me, said I look like the Honky Tonk Man, and I'm gonna be the Honky Tonk Man." I thought, man, that is the stupidest thing I have ever heard. Until I saw it for my own eyes, and I went, "Oh my gosh, this could really work for him." And Matt, as good of friends as we were, Matt was okay in the ring. Matt was never phenomenal in the ring, so yeah. But Matt also had a good enough sense about him to know, hey, I'm going to have to do something to stay relevant here in the wrestling industry. And he found that comedy was his thing. And I'm going to tell you flat out, Matt Scott, as the Honky Tonk Matt, coming out in his Honky Tonk Man gimmick, walking out to the Honky Tonk Man music in a jumpsuit, Honky Tonk Man in tights. It was awesome. It was great. You couldn't beat it.
But I never, as talented as Matt is, as Honky Tonk Matt is, I was always bewildered by the fact that he did not redo the Honky Tonk Man song
Yeah.
and sing it himself to
Yeah.
say Honky Tonk Man or Honky Tonk Matt because I never I never understood why he didn't go that extra step for his gimmick.
Well, I mean, like I said, let me make this clear. Matt was good in the ring. He wasn't great, but Matt was good enough to understand that, and he was selflessness enough to know that, hey, I got to find my niche, and he found his niche with that in comedy. Matt could have a match, and he could have a good match, but he couldn't have a great match without a gimmick behind it, and when he got the honky tonk Matt thing going on, he found some great matches and everything. I mean, that was his thing, man, to be the honky tonk Matt.
Remember the tournament for the Rocky Top Wrestling Championship?
Oh yeah,
So
yeah.
by the fourth match, he comes out and he goes, "Even though I'm tired of seeing myself."
I mean, Matt was funny. Matt's got a great personality. He's a hilarious guy, and
And looks don't count for everything.
no, yeah. I mean, Matt's a great dude, and I can tell you without a shadow of a doubt, the most fun I ever had in a wrestling ring was with Matt Scott because for many years Matt was my best friend, and me and Matt traveled the road together. I mean, me and Matt have secrets with each other that really will go to the grave, and you know, if I could do one thing left in the wrestling business, it would be to have one more tag match as Rhythm and Booze with Matt Scott as the Honky Tonk Matt. Because, oh my gosh, they were so much fun. And me and Matt, like I said, the friendship extended way beyond the wrestling ring. I mean, me and Matt would work a show, go to a bar that night, get hammered drunk, when we went to the bar, he was still honky tonk Matt. I was Cody Ices. Let me tell this story about we're running. I think it's the first or second Rocky Top show at the VFW. We've got Ricky Morton booked. Punky comes up. Punky, that's what guys call Ricky Morton. Punky comes up to me and says, "Hey, I heard you guys are going to Myrtle Beach." I said, "Yeah, we're going down to Myrtle Beach. Me and Matt, we were just going down for vacation." And he says, "Yo, Robert, he runs shows down in South Carolina." I had no idea.
Robert who?
Robert Gibson. He said, hey, he runs so and so WrestleMania. You guys want to work on the show? Ricky Morton is just asking me if he wants me to get a booking through Robert Gibson. Uh, yes, sir. I'd love to. Well, he calls Robert, says, "Hey, Hoop, I got these two guys, are pretty good workers. We'll send them down to go wrestle your show Thursday night." I'm in awe. So I go back in the locker room. I said, "Hey, Matt, you're not going to believe this." And I told him what just happened. I mean, Matt's jaw dropped. I mean, here we are. We just had one, in my opinion, the greatest tag team. I'm biased, but, the greatest tag team. I just had Ricky Morton call Robert Gibson to say, "Hey, book these guys." All right. So anyway, we had the show on Saturday. Me and Matt are leaving on Monday. I think I had to work my real job on Sunday. We were leaving Sunday night. We drove through the night, right? So we get to Myrtle Beach, and me and Matt had drove through the night Sunday night. And I look at Matt and I said, "Hey man, we got to the hotel about 2 o'clock. Got to the hotel. They got the reservations. They got my name wrong." And we had, I mean, I went, I went crazy on them, and they got us our hotel room and everything. And anyway, I look at Matt. We get to the hotel. It's about 2, 3 o'clock in the afternoon in Myrtle Beach, and I said, "Hey man, I tell you what, let's sit here. Let's let's sleep for a couple hours, and we'll get up. We'll party all night." And he said, "Yeah, man, that's a good idea, right?" I take a nap. Ricky Morton has called me 2 or 3 times and, "Hey, why ain't you called Robert yet?" So I called Ricky back, and he says, "Hey, man, you need to call Robert." All right, I'll get to it right now. Called Robert. Oh, my God. Whew. Squirrels in this hotel room, Bobby. But we wake up, we call Robert, and, I never talked to Robert, never met him. And I said, I think I had to leave him a voicemail. I can't remember that for sure, but hey, Mr. Gibson, this is Cody Ices. Ricky Morton gave me your number, told me to call you when we got down here. We're at our hotel room. Robert Gibson calls back. First words out of his mouth is, "You boys drink cold beer?" Yes, yes, sir, we do. Come pick me up. So me and Matt, we drive down to dumpy ass hotel. Oh my gosh, this place is dump. Pick up Robert Gibson, right? No big deal. We're just two young kids in the wrestling industry, right? Going on vacation. Ricky Morton's called Robert Gibson. We're going to pick Robert up, right? Pick Robert up, goes to the bar. We drink with Robert for 3 days. My greatest claim to fame ever is after 3 days of drinking cold beer, Robert Gibson turns and looks at me and goes, "Damn, boy, you can drink some cold beer." See what we go down there and we work for Robert. Well, here's the greatest thing about that story. Keep in mind, Matt Scott is Honky Tonk Matt. We go down to Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, in the middle of an Elvis Presley tribute convention. Everywhere we look, there's the Elvis Presley hairstyles, everything else. Everywhere we go, "Hey, you here for the convention?" Matt Scott going, "Oh, Elvis who, baby?" You know? I mean, we did that. We have a good match down in South Carolina, and we come back, and we continue tagging. And I mean, I can just tell you flat out, me and Matt Scott had more fun as Rhythm and Booze, and I mean, it was true chemistry in the ring because it was chemistry inside the ring, outside the ring. We would go, we would leave the Civic Auditorium, go to the Electric Cowboy in Johnson City. People were coming up, buying us cold beer, saying, "Oh, we saw you boys at the show tonight. Let me buy you guys a cold beer." It was great. Matt Scott, Honky Tonk Matt, the greatest CWA television champion of all time.
So why do you feel, or do you feel, that Rhythm and Blues or Booze were passed over in the CWA as a tag team that really should have been more recognized? Obviously, OMF was there. They were pushing them as undefeated tag team. You guys were in there. They had other tag teams as well. You had Mr. Happy and Nick Hammonds. Why do you feel any kind of resentment for the fact that you guys weren't pushed further up that ladder when it comes to tag team championships? Because you guys were both former television champions. So it seemed like you guys would be a natural fit to go into that tag team rank. Do you feel like you again did you guys get overlooked, or what happened where you guys didn't get to go that next level as a tag team?
I don't think so because me and Matt were having so much fun and we were working marquee matches and I don't think we needed the tag team titles. We were the top tag team of RTW. I think we were the tag team that was, not by CWA office choice, but we were selected, to be, we were the RTW tag team champions.
So when we talk about RTW, originally the RTW tag team championship rank was you and Easy Money. So when Easy Money and the Cool Kids bounced out of RTW, then now the NWA Smoky Mountain, or CWA at that point in time, tag team of Rhythm and Booze popped in. So when RTW first started, why didn't you pursue the Rhythm and Booze tag team versus the what was it? Was it Easy on the Ices? Why'd you choose to go the route of Easy on the Ices with RTW versus the Rhythm and Booze of the CWA as your leading contenders for the belts? So what happened there? Like, and once Easy on the Ices disappeared, then you went back to Easy or to Rhythm and Booze. So why that happen? Why was the switch? Was there anything predetermined? Do you in the retrospect would you have changed and gone with Rhythm and Booze, even though that was a CWA creation for RTW?
Uh, that's really hard to say. Easy on the Isis was created. I mean, it had been around anyway. I mean, that was me and Jason tagged up in Virginia is Easy on the Isis, and it was just brought down here. I mean, Easy on the Isis was new to East Tennessee wrestling. It was not new to Southwest Virginia wrestling. That had been around anyway. There was a couple factors. One, Honky Tonk Matt Scott. I mean, I had been with CWA, pretty long term. Me and Matt Scott started with CWA. Basically, actually, Matt started there, well before I did, as a matter of fact. But Matt had kind of left CWA for a while. Easy on the ISIS was done a little bit more because Brandon and Gavin had worked more with Jason than they had with Matt. So it was, more of a natural fit to have better quality matches with, me and Jason as opposed to me and Matt. When Matt came back to CWA as Honky Tonk Matt, and it became, it became obvious he was going to be a mainstay, then, if I had to do it over again, I probably would have put Honky Tonk Matt in that space because Honky Tonk Matt and Cody Isis, Rhythm and Booze were what ended up being lasting. Not Easy on the Isis. Easy Money was doing Rocky Top Wrestling shows. He wasn't doing CWA shows at the time. Honky Tonk Matt and Cody Isis were doing both. So yeah, I think I would have put Honky Tonk Matt in that position. But even though Rhythm and Booze had been discussed, we didn't know how far away that was. We knew when Rocky Top Wrestling started that Rhythm and Booze was going to be around eventually. We didn't realize that Rhythm and Booze was only 3 or 4 months away at that point. We still thought it might be a year or 2 years out before that actually happened. And you got to keep in mind too, Honky Tonk Matt was a heel and I was a baby face when that first happened. So when the first Rocky Top Wrestling show happened, so I don't know that that was possible to happen.
So you guys were on opposite sides. Is that where you smashed the guitar? I guess on in his head, and I guess that all happened pretty quickly. So with the Honky Tonk Matt and Cody Isis angle, you guys seem to really be, again, everybody knew that you guys were best friends and all that kind of stuff. So it seems like it was interesting to feature you guys in an angle that was going to put you against each other because, um, with Matt again always had the career, even though he was a CWA television champion. He at most times would actually lose matches to his opponent. Like he was, I wouldn't go so far as say talent enhancement, but Matt really did seem like he would lose often to other stars in the CWA. So, do you feel like that you could have put Matt over maybe more, or do you feel like Matt always was drawn to a character that was going to be the loser in the match or the enhancement talent?
I think Matt, after so many years, had understood that, Matt's character was not a main event character. Matt's character always had a spot on the show, but it wasn't, you weren't always going to see Honky Tonk Matt Scott in the main event match. I do regret at the last Woody show, I should have put Matt over that night, and I didn't, and that was my call. I do wish I would have put him over that night. Now, I, if I was put with the same decision day, I don't know if I would have changed the decision because I didn't know if Matt was going to be around after that or not, and I needed somebody to stay strong. So I didn't want to lose to Matt at that last Rocky Top Wrestling Woody's event and go in with a loss. But really, at the end of the day, what did it matter? Uh, with the story the way it was built, Matt should have went over that night. I should not have. And he should have pinned me 1, 2, 3, and he should have done it clean. And I wish that I would have changed my decision that night to put Matt over.
Honky Tonk Matt, wow. Actually, I have a picture of him standing outside in front of our billboard. He was out there dancing with Ashley Hope, just trying to promote the event. So, okay. So, going into that, as a promoter, as an indie promoter, you hang posters. One of the funnest times I've ever hung posters.
Most fun, you Virginia white trash.
The most fun time I've ever hung posters was hanging posters at Elizabethan. And I was out there with Cody Ices and Honky Tonk Matt. And Honky Tonk Matt was kayfabing as a Russian. And we went into a place called the Blue Circle, which in Elizabethton, the Blue Circle is the Subway of sandwich shops. It's
And I think you also have to understand too. The Blue Circle is where a bunch of wrestlers hung out. I mean, that even goes back to the day of Don and Ron Wright. They used to hang out at the Blue Circle, and Alex Winters worked there. And then me and Matt hung out there. So, I mean, honestly, I think you have to understand that the Blue Circle, not only a little deli slash convenience shop, but it was kind of a hangout for wrestlers.
yeah, and so here we are, the three of us. We are getting ready to promote a wrestling event at the Elizabethan, the first Rocky Top Wrestling event at Woody's, the restaurant, barbecue. Yeah, there's nothing in there for me to grab. um, so we're the three of us are there with these posters, wanting to hang things for Woody's Barbecue for the first ever Rocky Top Wrestling event, and we're in the car, and Matt goes, "I've got an idea. I know a way to get this over." So he puts on a hood, a mask, and he walks. I have no idea why there was a hood in the car, but he walks in to to the Blue Circle, and we are, Cody and I walk in as well, and we're all three in there. There's one guy wearing a wrestling mask or a mask in general.
This woman, when Honky Tonk Matt walks in there wearing the red Russian hood, this woman looks at him and goes, "Ah!" It was the most hilarious thing I've ever seen in my life. However, do you remember, as hilarious as that was, here we've got the Russian assassin running with us. The carnival's in town. They had the swinging hammer or rotating hammer, whatever they call that thing, at the carnival there at Elizabethton High School. And for some reason, on that amusement park ride are the letters CCCP.
Yep. So so that's what we see as we walk in. There, this is the masked guy. One lady's scared to death. Oh my God, I'm gonna get robbed. Blah blah blah. Leaves. Everybody else, which granted it's me and Cody and like two other people at the most. They are in there and looking at Matt wearing a mask, going, okay. And
Like, hey, what's up?
yeah, it's Elizabeth in Tennessee. No big deal. And they just keep walking around. We get a great shot of Matt hanging up the poster from the outside with a camera. Yeah, so that's how Rocky Top Wrestling began. You wonder why we are doing a podcast or a YouTube channel now with the Rocky Top Wrestling name. Basically, we're lazy and we don't want to create anything different than what the logo we already produced. So
That's why, that's how. We will be back in just a few days, and we'll have another Rocky Top Wrestling, Drunken Wrestling Review for all you fine folks out there. Please don't forget to follow us on the Twitter machine, as Chris Jericho would say, but he would say Twitter. And also on Facebook as well. We are available on both those, Twitter and Facebook, and of course right here on our YouTube channel, Rocky Top Wrestling, Drunken Wrestling Review, the rTw. We're going to flash up all those fine logos there for you so you guys can all see them, follow them, tell your friends about them, please. Because, well, we don't really have any bills to pay, but anyway, it'd just be nice to have more followers and more people out there and communicate and talk about it, because, you know, the world needs more wrestling podcasts. The world needs more wrestling YouTube. So please contribute to what the world really needs. I do appreciate everybody listening again tonight. So thanks again for listening to Rocky Top Wrestling, Drunken Wrestling Review. My name is NWA Bobby Mack. I am available for bookings through the National Wrestling Alliance. You can book me at rockytopwrestling@gmail.com. My partner is the young gun Cody Ices. You can book him also through the Rocky Top Wrestling at gmail.com. So we both look forward to hearing from you. We both look forward to your bookings. And we also look forward to your follows, subscriptions, and just a good old time of communicating. Thanks a lot, everybody. Have a great week. Have a great night. This is Rocky Top Wrestling signing off.